Zoom meetings. Stick with me. So, but want to get this started. Thanks for everybody being here today. Really appreciate everybody being part of our meeting. And to go back to some things that we've tried to do in the past, it'll be a little different now, is we'll do introductions. But since we don't have the microphone to pass around that you would normally see at our live meetings, what we'll do is that I will go down the list of names of the participants. And if you could just introduce who you are, what you do, and what company you're with, or who you're representing, okay? And I don't know the best system for all this, other than first ones I got down here. Well, okay, Mr. Owen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Amy and Sandy. My name is Dick Owen. I'm with fairchanceemployer.com. I was a speaker at last month's event, actually. Happy to join you this morning. Too bad we can't do it face-to-face, but that's our world. So thanks for putting this all together.
All right. Al Freeman.
I'm Al Freeman. I'm the creative designer for Ultra Durable Technologies, part of the marketing department.
All right. I have someone listed as iPhone. That one gets tricky if they know who they are. I see the name iPhone there. Feel free to jump in if it's working. Looks pretty quiet. And so moving on, we have Dean Kiffmeyer.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dean Kiffmeyer with Central McGowan.
And I'm seeing these names are jumping around. This is going to be an adventure now. Brad from Partners Funding. If we don't hear anything, Cassie Stang.
I got on mute, right? Brad with Partners Funding. Sorry about that. It's great to be here and not be driving. So thanks for having this.
Okay. Oh, that's right. All right. And let's see. This now I can see the problem with this. The participant list just keeps jumping around, Amy. And Chuck Hayes.
Jackie Bistadu, CPA with LB Carlson, and your sponsor today.
Oh, that's right. Speaking of that, Jackie, were you going to speak for the sponsor, which is about to come up shortly? I guess it's got to.
No, that's all right. You can read the slide, or it doesn't matter.
Okay. And let's see who else we've got. Angie Brick. We catch her.
Morning, Angie Brick from RotoChopper.
All right. And Dawn Loberg.
Morning, Dawn Loberg, Enterprise, Minnesota.
And we're going to hear more from Duane, but he's on with us now. Duane
Bryngelson with Park Industries. I'm the Vice President of Manufacturing. Thank you for allowing us to show our plant this morning.
All right. And Eric Reisinger.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reisinger. I work at Bremer Bank as a commercial lender.
Oh, it's Jason Iverson. We got him there.
Good morning. Jason Iverson, risk manager at Falcon National Bank and CMMA board member.
All right. Georgia McCann.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Georgia McCann with ATS Anderson Trucking Service here in St. Cloud.
All right. And stick with me. I have to keep moving the list. Jason Melby.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Jason Melby, Operations Manager at NobleFlex LED.
All right. And I have one listed as, just says Jessica W. Who might you be? All right. Jim Slepper.
Good morning, Jim Slepper with Adventure Properties. Previously spent time with my friends at Park Industries and Deseric in the past, so enjoy hearing what they're up to these days.
Great. Joe Wolf.
Hey everyone, Joe Wolf from Marsh & McLennan out of Duluth, Minnesota. We're a risk management consulting
All right, Kurt Helgensen.
Hey, good morning, Kurt Helgeson with St. Cloud State University and CMMA board member.
All right. Mark Mueller.
Hello, everyone. Mark Mueller from Ayers and Ayers Design Build General Construction Company.
And Penny Hanson.
Good morning, Penny Hanson from Enterprise, Minnesota.
And Tom Selling, sorry, Tom.
Celine, but that's close enough. Good morning. Good morning. Tom Celine from King Solutions.
All right. I think I have to look through the list. Have we missed anybody or ones we didn't have the right names for? If you got missed, feel free to just jump in right now.
Cassie Stang with King Solutions.
Right. All right. Any
Good
other?
morning. Good morning, Chuck Parker from Stearns Bank.
Ah, now I know who this fellow is what says iPhone.
Ah, okay. All right. All right.
Thanks.
Sandy Cashmark, Executive Director for CMMA, Tri-State, and AMPA.
Right. Okay.
Good morning, Jessica Wells from Two Rivers Enterprises.
Okay, have we got everybody? But thanks again to everybody for being here, being part of our meeting. It's a whole new adventure for all of us, but it seems to be a way of life now. Zoom meetings are the way you do it. And so today, to keep things going, I really want to thank LB Carlson, is our sponsor for today. And that's a little difficult for being sponsors these days, but and I guess I'm going to give you a little information about LB Carlson, because they're a team of communicators, advocates, and strategists ready to help you identify challenges and maximize business opportunities. The founder, LB Carlson, believed that the key to a successful CPA and business consulting firm was going beyond just the numbers and the taxes to provide services that help businesses achieve their greatest goals. His vision still guides the company today. So they're committed to being a partner in your success. They achieve this by staying in contact with clients throughout the year, always striving to go beyond client industry expectations. So for more information, you can contact them, Jacqueline Bastodo, and you see the reference on your screen of how to get a hold of them. Thank you. And moving on, that we got a few little business announcements. I noticed that breakfast slide go by. Sorry about that, the virtual breakfast. But look at the positive side, it's low calorie. So I want to celebrate, we got some CMA membership anniversaries I want to bring up. And so we've got, for 5 years, is American National Bank of Minnesota and the Hanson Bank and Trust. And for 10 years, it's the CWMF Corporation. So thank them for continuing to be members. We really appreciate that. And the other item on the list is to welcome our newest members. Excuse me. And in spite of all this struggle and the virus and whatever, we are actually able to get new members. That's been wonderful. So the ones we've got: Abrasive Blast Supply, Brand Point, HPZ Marketing, Imperial Machine, Inventure Real Estate, Orca Machine Tools, Pivotal Advisors, West Central Industries, and Ultra Durable Technologies. So I really want to thank all of them for joining CMMA. We really appreciate their membership. And a couple of other items that are going to come up here. And one of them is about the Youth Apprenticeship Toolkit. You'll notice on the slide that you see, we're about to see, it indicates launching soon. I'm here to tell you it is launched. So if you go to the CMA website, you can look up towards the right-hand side of the lineup of buttons to hit, and there's one that says Youth Apprenticeship. If you go in there, it'll take you in to the rest of the information about Youth Apprenticeship. Part of our website also discusses not only the Department of Education's apprenticeship program, but the Department of Labor's program. And there's information for, especially for the companies, to give you information about what you need to do to get an apprentice, I should say, or to have an apprentice in your facility. And there's also information for the schools and even would be useful to students as to what's involved. And if you look through that, and if you have any questions, there's contact names at the end of that information. And the other big item of news for this morning is the next slide will be the K-12 Navigator. And where it says launching soon, that's correct. It's not quite ready to go. I'm hopeful that within the next month, it should be launched. And that's a program. What's really important is for all the manufacturers that are with us today, we really need your support because we're going to be contacting you to help fill the database for that. And what this Navigator will be is a way for students, teachers, even parents, people to find companies and what they're willing to do. And as you can see on the slide, you see the different categories, and each manufacturer then loads their information into the system and says what they're willing to do with the schools or students. So that's a really big item. And so stay tuned because we'll have a lot more to talk about on that once we get it going. And I think the next part of this event is that we sort of miss this with the breakfast where everybody gets to stand around and visit and socialize with everybody. So they put together Amy's, I have to tell Amy's the brains behind this. I'm lucky I can make Zoom work. So, you know, but we're going to do breakout rooms, which I think they did once before. And if I got it right, Amy, there's two breakout sessions.
There is. They're each 5 minutes. The first one's a little more business and the second one's a little more fun.
All right. So just be surprised who you end up with. Is that it?
Yes. Participation is mandatory, right?
Right. I don't think you have a choice.
We are going to put, we're going to put 3 in each room, so it'll be hard to hide.
Oh.
We have 24 participants, so we can go ahead and do that. If you are ready, Les,
we'll do it.
You will get a 60-second countdown when it is almost time to come back. And as people join the meeting, as they still are, you might see that somebody will join you into the breakout because I will put them into a room. So the first question is, and I will type this once you get in there as well, what is your company doing to overcome the current recruiting challenges? So maybe what are some new practices that you have put into place that we can network with each other and learn? Any questions? All right. We'll see you soon. Have fun.
Well, how's it going for this networking with these chat rooms, everybody? Hey, thumbs up. That's a good way to do this quick. Just if it's going well, that's great because we're figuring this out. And that's a good point too. If you see things that you like or you'd like to try something different, let us know because this is sort of a thing that's being invented as you watch. So really appreciate any input you have and ideas, and we really pay attention to that. So, okay, we're ready now for the main speaker for this today. And the presentation topic, you've seen that, is business to consumer, which took me a while to figure that out, marketing. But this is presented by Penny Hanson, and she's a business growth consultant at Enterprise Minnesota. And Penny grew up, this little history on her, entrepreneurial family where having your own family business was norm, not the exception. So for 25 years, Penny worked in marketing for private, family-owned, private equity, public, and startup organizations, including Health and Home Technologies, SAS, Schwann's, Graco, Wagner Spray, BF Goodrich. So experience includes corporate marketing, branding, licensing, strategic planning, businesses, consumer goods, durable goods, just aerospace industries. I think it pretty much covers everything you might have that you'd like to market. So without any further ado, we'll welcome Penny to explain the marketing to us. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here trying to share my screen. Does everybody see it? Nods?
Yep.
Good? All right. We'll get started here. All right, our agenda sort of looks like alphabet soup at the beginning here, but we'll cover our academia part of the presentation. And then the second half of the presentation will be more practicum, the information you can bring back to your own business. Business-to-business marketing. The business-to-business marketing refers to the marketing strategy and content that gears towards a business and organization. A lot of you, this is your world. This is what you're familiar with. This is you marketing to another business. Then we get into the world of business-to-consumer marketing. Business-consumer marketing is an organization going to the consumer. Notice a lot of the dots here on the screen of what there is. Businesses are in the consumer world or semi-consumer world are worried about all those dots. Unfortunately, in the marketing world, we never got any more money than we already currently had to do all these extra activities. So another one in here that's not on there is TikTok. I have missing. But when you look at that, and I look at my history and my career in marketing, when I started out, there was 4 bubbles in my career. Now there's many more bubbles for us to be concerned about and how we can interact and connect with our consumers. And then this is the world we're in right now. Business to consumer world. And this is a place where the lines are truly blurred. And I'm hoping these things we talk about in the few short minutes will help you with your own organization. If you take a look at it, in 2019, e-com trade took 40% of our gross domestic product was due to e-com trade. Good example of how businesses have been successful in this world. You think of our e-commerce world that's here. Also the OEM worlds of automobile manufacturers. They've been very successful in this business to consumer world. If you think of when you're going to purchase your car, you might go to the website of the manufacturer, and then you go to the website of the dealer. So you have 2 interactions with the consumer. Here's our tried and true model in marketing, AIDA. The sales funnel, it is about awareness and getting people involved with you and going into interests, decisions, and actions. AIDA, it's a strategy that's been around since probably 1890. So 130 years of marketers getting people's interests and learning more about what people want to give them the call to action. Here's AIDA in the digital age. This is the world you guys are in now. There are things you're doing of your PR, social media, webinars, and describing our products to our competitors. Maybe we're doing ebooks or things we're doing in this age to get people aware of what we have out there. So think of AIDA is the methodology, how you're getting folks to get your call to action, to get them to purchase. And now, let's take you into the world of Amazon, the largest e-commerce retailer out there. Amazon controls fundamentally they control most of the world's digital infrastructure. That's the one thing amazing about them. And when you look at Amazon in their growth of where they're at, they predict they'll probably be at 300 billion this year. And That growth has over time been through acquisitions of different things they've learned. They've acquired brick and mortar like Whole Foods, Internet of Things, web service providers. And what makes Amazon unique and different is they've changed the footprint for others. And how they've changed the footprint is no different than the way Walmart changed the psychology on how we shop. Pre-Walmart, we go to different stores. Walmart brought us into the age of buying jeans, chicken breasts, and getting your tires changed was a normal occurrence. Think of Amazon going forward as they have figured out the psychology behind what makes you buy online. And really the thing you can take out of this presentation, maybe you don't sell to consumers, you're business to business world, you're business to services world. They took the friction out of what happens in the world of transactions. What kind of friction can you take out of your world? So let's talk about Amazonizing your digital footprint. What can you learn from Amazon to make your own organization more successful? We'll use the eponym going forward to talk about Amazon. No different than we talk about Xerox, fiberglass, Kleenex. Amazon is a technique we can use going forward and a learning from them on bringing back to our own business. Amazon has been changing our world forever. It continue to change our world. And what they created at the bottom of your screen is a key term here. They created what they called A+ content. They launched it about 2017. And what A+ content was, it gave brands an opportunity to showcase their products. And if you learning fast forward to 2020, Amazon's using this own strategy to launch their own products, not just branded products. So the world they started with was helping brands, and now they're actually doing it themselves. So the benefits of A+ content. So back in the day when they were launching this in 2017, this is what they told brands the benefit of A+ content was and why you would want to do it. And we won't focus on these items here, but this was what Amazon pitched to the greater good of the brands to get them to activate and intrigue them and get them to do things that they think would work best. It's back to the psychology. So here's some examples of A+ content. We'll have an example going forward. You don't need to go through this whole list, but think of video, images, interactive experiences, short, clear, concise information, and rich, frequently asked questions, FAQs. Now, if you want to, you can go onto your phone or device and take a look at this product on Amazon if you want to walk through this with me. They have a more interactive field. It's your choice. The reason I picked Anchor Battery Pack was at the time when I put this presentation together, they had 29,000 reviews on their product, which I think is amazing because if you think of the world of marketing, a dissatisfied customer will tell between 9 to 15 people about their experience. About 13% of these will tell 20 people. A happy customer tells 4 to 6. I just looked at this. 2 months have gone past since I put this together, and they're already up to 37,000 reviews. So in a matter of two months, they have another extra almost 8,000 reviews. So interesting product. Let's learn more of their way of what we can take back to our world. And it doesn't matter for going forward here if you're you have a product or a service. Video. Video is very critical and key. Since you're not there face to face, like we've learned in COVID, what can we do to engage people? We still buy from people. People want to buy from people. People want to find people they believe in and are trustworthy of their purchase. In this experience with Anchor, their video production was based off of reviews by other people. They weren't even internal videos. Your video quality, way back in the day when you first doing videos for marketing, it was pristine quality. People are a little bit more relaxed in what they believe is true of what you need for video, but it needs to be authentic and it needs to be from the heart and believable. So what can you do with your business to bring a video content to it? Images. Attractive images sell. For example, in Minneapolis, there's a rescue called Secondhand Hounds. They have an Instagram account. They started taking professional pictures of their puppies and kittens to rehome. When they started doing them professionally, they had people purchasing or going to intend to purchase the animals within minutes before when they put professional pictures out there versus days or months. So even in the world of puppies and kitties, pictures make a difference in the quality of pictures that come through. In the example of Anchor here, using product images from different angles. Let me see what your product looks like. What are things I should be concerned with? Do you do something different in the way your product either goes together or produces a finished product? In my consumer marketing world background, when I worked with Black & Decker and Stanley, we had to do things at a certain angle, white backdrop, very, very branded look. Are there things you can do in your world to make a branded look of your product? Lifestyle images are key and critical. Show me your product in use. Help me understand and relate to if you do something differently. Is there something unique about the person you want to be looking for your product? And that's to take a look at your images. Always have good qualities. Your marketing team will appreciate when you spend the money on it because it can go a lot of places and people love good pictures. Interactive experience. And this is, think of the psychology Amazon is doing, is how can they take the experience from a screen like we are to make it more personable. It's interactive. So if you were on the Anchor page right now on their site on Amazon, your finger would be on the box of where it's highlighted if you're using your finger for it, and you can touch and move and see. The interactive part is getting the more kinesthetic features of us engaged with what's happening. And the rich engagement makes digital experiences better. And this is an example of a rich engagement. Information. Precise information is key. The information in that blue box is the branded information. If you Google it, you can find the product easily. So what's your name on your product that you can find easily in the world of Google? Bullet points in the green box. Good bullet points help somebody understand what you do. Make sure you write the bullet points that work from your audience's point of view, not your point of view. What can you do to relate to them? What do they need to hear from you to understand what you're selling? Don't have internal speak, have external speak for them to want to connect to you. If you have engineers looking for your stuff, what kinds of words or information would be information you need about your product for them to find you? The other example here is concise headers on the right side, great stuff. And if you have many things, what's in the box? But don't think what's in the box is limited to a product. What's in the box could be something that you do different with your service than your competition does. What is your finishing touch? What makes you different and unique? That could be your what's in the box. And our last item, frequently asked questions. Clear up the confusion. Confused people do not buy. A confused consumer will never buy your product. A confused business won't buy your product. So what can you do to help it understand? And frequently asked questions aren't meant to go on the website to die. Frequently asked questions are a great thing when you're launching a product and you want to get your consumer services team involved, your engineering team involved, your sales team, how they need to work together and understand this. But over time, your frequently asked questions will be dynamic and should change of information coming back to the organization, things that have come up in your frequently asked questions. Can you put something in there about how your services compared to your competition is different? Do you have a finishing touch to what you do compared to your competition that you can show? So think of frequently asked questions as your human interaction. If you have a really savvy salesperson, they'll always work in a frequently asked question as a proposition of how they sell. They will take something that you didn't know you had and make it very possible and probable. Frequently asked questions on your web world can do that. Here's the example of Anchor on their page. And if you notice what it looks like a magazine page. We love magazine pages, even though we don't have many magazines anymore. We have it where, as you can see, when you take these pieces and parts and they put them together, this is what it looks like. So you have your images, you have your lifestyles, you have your bullets, you have your images, what great thing does it do compared to your competition? And then if you have multiple models, how do they compare? People love magazine pages. Here's your website checklist. We have the presentation for you guys later. Amy can send it out to you that you'll have this information, but always include video, images, product. If you can have an interactive product experience, please do. Precise information about your products and enriching frequently asked questions. Those help tremendously. So when you think of going Amazoning, think of having a rich experience to increase your engagement. That is what you want to bring back to your new customers, existing customers, those looking at you on your digital footprint. Anybody experience primnesia during the COVID phase? I thought this one was funny. I've experienced it myself, unfortunately. But think about what's happening in this digital world and think about Amazon and what they've done. And there's no reason you can't take these learnings to enhance your own business. I want to thank you for your time. And I truly thank you for having me as your speaker today. And I hope you all bring Amazoning to your own world.
Thank you, Penny. We'd like to offer Q&A now, right, Les?
You bet.
So if anybody wants to, feel free to speak up if you have any questions for Penny, or you can use the chat feature. If you're shy and you'd rather type it, you could send it to me privately, and then I'm happy to relay that question for you. So I have a question.
Sure.
Penny, I don't know if this is, well, since we're talking about Amazoning and you brought up the battery pack and it has gained 7,000 reviews, do you know what their strategy is? Is it incentives, or how are they increasing those? Because clearly they have that Amazon Choice badge on it. I always wondered how that actually gets there. And
so in the world of Amazon, I've started working with Amazon back in 2004. And reviews were everything, because we as consumers, we might not purchase from Amazon, but we might go to Amazon and read their reviews. And in the way, when it first started, you could send incentives to people to write reviews. Since that time, Amazon doesn't do the incentive part of it. They might, in your box, when you purchase something, you might open your box and says, please send us a review if you so believe so. But I do think in the world of consumers, because we don't have the interaction, if you have a great experience or a bad experience, you want to tell somebody, because there's a lot of junk out there, and you want to do the right thing for others. And I think that's how you can get a lot of the Amazon reviews. Some of the companies and some of the areas of products have a lot more reviews than others, just based on the demographics of who's answering those questions. Your tech world is a unique world in which they very much believe in telling others about something good or something bad.
thank you.
Hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
I have a question, Penny. Good job. Wondering about a more local or smaller example or some statistics on that. I mean, I understand Amazon's success, and I venture to guess that many of us would be very successful given the toolbox that Amazon has also, and the AI that they utilize to drive reviews and such. Can we get a more local example or a smaller business type example of something that they did and it worked?
Well, if you think of things that you can bring back to your own world, is pay close attention to your Google listing. That's how most people are going to find you, is via Google. And what are you doing with your Google listing? Do you have reviews on your Google listing for your small business? Can you get your customers to respond and say they had a great experience? You're fantastic with on-time deliveries. What can you do in your world? So I would say and you still need these attributes of images, videos, frequently asked questions that you can bring back to your own world. But I would say when you look at targeting, Amazon targets the world and what they do. There's no reason you can't do your Google targeting in your own back door.
Thank you.
I have a question about the quality of video, Penny. I know you're saying it should be a 720p and under 3 minutes. But I really see a difference between a well-shot video and something shot on a cell phone. And it makes me almost question the product when it's shot so hazardly and shaky on a cell phone. Would you suggest that people spend the money to either get a more quality camera or even try to set up their own little video shoot instead of just trying to shoot something with a cell phone?
I think if you had the dynamics of both, it makes it more authentic. Except for if you were selling a $1 million crane, I'd say maybe invest in the video production crew for $1 million crane. But in the world you're in, your videos should be, different formulas in your content plan. You can think of videos for testimonials, and they should be more authentic, and they could be a little bit wobbly. You might have influencers that are in your world that give recommendations of your product. Their stuff can be either high quality or moderate quality. And as for your own stuff, what's your brand? What's your organizational feel? So whatever you put out there for video production, if it's high quality, medium quality, or impromptu quality, it needs to match your brand, because that's how you're authentic. So I, as a consumer, would say, if I'm going to, say, the Mercedes-Benz website and looking for something, I'm expecting super high quality video production. Other brands, maybe not as much, but that's the brand message to it.
I guess that's one of our struggles maybe, is that we do sell a high quality product, but we sell it to somebody who wants to light their kitchen, and we sell it to Target who wants to light all their stores. So it's a little bit different selling to Susie next door compared to selling at the corporate head down at Target.
So I'll nerd out on you on marketing. That's your buyer persona. You might have 2 videos done 2 different ways, depending on who that buyer is. Connect with people, communicate to them, and how they want to be communicated from you. Know thy buyer.
So I'm going to just interject here. Jason, one of your buyers is my daughter. She went online and saw your videos, and she has her whole entire dorm room with LEDs, the lighted ones, and she likes.
Thank you, Dawn. I love that.
So you could have her on video.
And it should be on from her iPhone and showing it in her dorm room in different ways. And you think in the world they're in, you could support a contest, because there's nothing like kids Instagramming or Snapchatting it up on how great your product is.
Might have to get her address from you, Dawn. Thank you.
All right.
Penny, I have a question for you from chat.
Yeah.
What effect has Amazon had on other sites like eBay, Craigslist, etc.?
Well, Amazon is the one out there, I think, smashing and burning stuff, because that's the way they go through life. Because I believe, because with their Internet of Things, their psychology and things behind it, they're doing stuff before anybody else. If you think of the world, you mentioned those different sites, think of how powerful Walmart was before Amazon came on the scene. And Walmart ignored Amazon. And Walmart's been doing nothing but catching up to Amazon. So it's a force to be reckoned with in the consumer world. It's going to be a considerable threat. In addition to now to brands out there, Amazon launching their own brands, because now they have captured our hearts and our minds and our checkbooks. That's the concern. But at the same point in time, if you know somebody who's big doing something good, take that back with you. Own it. Make it your own. Own your own piece of the earth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Penny, this is Jim. Quick question for you. When you think about people using the online shopping experience, Amazon obviously is its own thing. Doing your searches outside of Amazon through Google is a different process. There's a lot of non-traditional, things being sold on the internet now. In our case, it's real estate, it's other kinds of things like that. How are you seeing, a lot of stuff that still exists and doing well outside of Amazon? Or are you finding that the Amazon experience is really where everybody is moving towards?
I think that's, it depends on the brand. If you think of Amazon, in my past life, a viable contender to Amazon in the consumer world, Home Depot, amazing website. They're formidable in their space. They're the first ones who had products on there that weren't their own products and did dropship programs like Amazon. That's amazing. I think the real estate community as well as the car community, those are early adopters. We should always follow what they're doing because their stuff is going to ooze into our world eventually. Even though we might be a B2B business, who thought 10 years ago we'd be worried about videos when we were making brochures and having books? Our world has changed. So those innovators, I think innovators are folks like the real estate world, because who would make their greatest purchase without even seeing a product in person and touching it? People are making their greatest purchase based on great pictures online and video. So what can we bring back to our own business?
Penny, I have a question. As consumers, how concerned should we be about the privacy issues, and what thoughts do you have on the balance of the convenience, because it's convenient for Amazon to know what your buying habits are, and the protection of your privacy?
I think the moment you put your mouse or your email on any site is the moment you've decided to let people into your home. Because you figure, some of you probably have you are using Amazon's web service right now. Maybe you don't believe in Amazon, but you might be using their web service or providers of it. It's a more transparent world we're living in now. It's the world we're in. You can try to avoid it. Think of those who've tried to not use LinkedIn in business. You're whether you want to be on LinkedIn or not, or have a LinkedIn business page, you're sort of forced to now, and to be have a digital footprint to be real. Because you think if you didn't have those footprints or you didn't have a website, you wouldn't be real. So you're going to have to give up to play. And unfortunately, we all have to give up to play.
All right. Any final questions? Penny has a minute here, so if anybody has a burning question, now's your chance.
Well, thank you all for the opportunity. If you do have any questions, I can be reached at phanson@enterpriseminnesota.org. You can always get in touch with Dawn as well. And thank you for the opportunity today, and happy selling, and knock 'em dead. You guys are all doing great, and we all want to see you do better.
All right. Thank you, Penny. Great job. Yes. So, yeah, I don't know how you do the clapping thing in this show. Maybe you do it like if you go to a deaf meeting, you wave your hands, that's clapping. So thank you again. And so to follow up for the rest of what we have for our meeting today, since having real live tours has been a problem, not many companies have been eager to have a big group of people show up. But we do have the good fortune today that the folks at Park Industries were willing to use one of their videos to show what they're up to. And to give you a little background on them, this is a 100% family-owned company, and it was founded in 1953. Excuse me. And they've done a lot. Their initial business was really around cutting of stone, rocks, things like that. They've expanded now to equipment to do cutting for metal cutting industry. The big item is that Park Industries received the 2020 Manufacturer of the Year award for mid-size company from the Manufacturers Alliance. So big congratulations to them for that. And just so you understand on how this is done, that the award winners are selected based on peer recognition and demonstration of sharing continuous improvement experiences that contribute to the local manufacturing community. Some of the examples are manufacturing related seminars, plant benchmarking tours, publishing articles or blogs, leadership, sponsoring peer mentoring groups, and peer recommendations. So, so they've been providing this kind of guidance to the stone fabrication industry for decades, and they've really become the trusted advisor to that industry. They've expanded their support, including sharing continuous improvement ideas, plant flow, layout options for their customers, which is an interesting thought. They actually go to help their customer to be more successful. And internally, Park has trained all company personnel for CI process tools, increased all associates' knowledge when it comes to recognizing waste. So they've been very significant in their progress that they've made in their business. So what we'd like to do today is share a virtual tour of Park Industries. And the tour guide today is Duane Bryngelson. He's the VP of Manufacturing. And so he will do an introduction to the tour. And at the same time, then we'll be available after the video tour to answer any questions you might have. So with that, I turn it over to Duane.
Thank you, Les. Thank you for that great introduction. I'm proud to be part of the Park team. I wish I could say that I played a key role in some of those things you just mentioned, but so many other great people have led that charge. So, but it's fun to be part of that. At Park, we have a well-established lean program. So we've been practicing lean principles for several years, and we've really hit our stride over the last couple of years with it, where all of the associates working for the company have been trained. We put together a program we call it Lean 101. It teaches Kaizen and all the basic tools and principles of waste. What is waste, and how do we recognize it and eliminate it? So an example of that, in the fiscal year 2020, so we're ending our fiscal year here this month. Our lean program has eliminated over 7,000 hours of waste throughout the company. So we track all of our events. We track our just do it's, we call them, where associates, they're small projects where they say, this is really taking time. Let's move this here. Let's improve our flow. That group can get together and just do it. But we track all of the savings that we've seen, and we're north of 7,000 hours in waste reduction just in this year. So that's huge. We're now in our early stages of bringing automation in. So our focus in this fiscal year was autonomous operation in our machine shop. And 2 years ago, we had two machinists per large mill. Today, one machinist will operate 2 to 4 mills depending on the process of what's running. And we're continuing forward with automation. And really a big push on that is due to, we need to be able to do more with the people that work here. And mainly due to the hiring concerns. We recognize that it's not easy to find solid skilled associates. We decided let's put together a program that automates some of our processes where we can and upskills our team. So that's what our focus is today. So you'll see we do manufacture out of 2 plants here in St. Cloud. The video you'll see today is out of our one facility where majority of our production does run. What you won't see in the video is some of our robotics, which is located in our other facility. But we can cue that video anytime you're ready.
Bryngelson. I'm the Vice President of Manufacturing here at Park Industries, and today we're going to be giving you a tour of our state-of-the-art factory located in central Minnesota, where we are kind of, I'd say, celebrating a special time of year, being the 4th of July. We are proud to be an American U.S. manufacturer of precision cutting equipment. Everything is produced here in central Minnesota. We're very vertically integrated, and we start our process with U.S. manufactured steel. So all of the materials that we use are domestic fabricated. We're going to walk through our entire process here. From the south end of our building, we're traveling north. We have 3 lanes of fabrication taking place, all traveling north. On the north side of the building, they meet up with our paint line. Our paint line will travel east, where it meets up with our assembly line. From there, our assembly process travels south, and our machines ship out of the south end of the building. We're going to share a few tips with you, some things that we've done in our factory to make it more efficient, a little bit more lean. So let's take a walk through. I'll show you what we're up to. Here we're cutting our steel. We're processing all tube and structural type of materials, cutting them to specified lengths, and they travel into our welding cells from here. So from this point, our materials flow from our cut bay into our weld cell. Here they're doing some pre-weld prior to the final weld process. I'm going to introduce Mike Fell to you. Mike Fell's one of our production managers here at Park Industries. Mike's going to walk through our welding process for you.
Like Duane said, Mike Fell, manufacturing manager here at Park Industries of the fabrication area. We have 3 different weld stations through here, and everything is set up kind of in a demand flow standpoint. So each bay has welding, and it's all configured based on size. And as it goes through, it's based on what gets blasted and then machined in this area. So typically, if we start in this bay, it'll stay in this bay all the way through. So behind me here, on these large bases, this will be all for our Voyager, Sabre Jets, Fusions, and Titans. So basically, up on the side over here behind me here is a big base pictures, and here's where all our Sabre, Jet, and Voyager bases are made in here. Off to my left over here, you'll see these are sub-weldments, and those sub-weldments will get ultimately set into this fixture with a base in the middle and put together. Since we spent the time going through doing all the fixturing and improving the process, we've taken the time basically 50% down from where we originally started from. Everything that we do gets a sandblasting operation done. So we'll walk down here a little bit and take a look at what we got going on here from a blasting standpoint. We have 4 different units for blasting. Stand behind me here is a large booth. We have 2 of these. You got one in this bay, one in the other bay, and then we have 2 smaller bang barn units that are used for anything that's under 6 foot. You can see some of the parts in the booth here. They're dark colored. This is before they're blasted. When over here, we have parts after blast when they come out. To get this nice gray look finish to them, this is how you know they're blasted. Now, there's 2 main reasons why we blast. In order for paint to stick good, you need it to be clean and you need a profile. So that's what the sandblasting does. It cleans the metal and it actually profiles it. And if you can actually feel this feels just like a fingernail file, basically. That's kind of what the texture is on there. So as you can see here at Park Industries, we always have a blast. So next up after blasting, we got machining. So I'm going to hand it off to Lyle Peterson. Here you go, Lyle.
Hi, I'm Lyle, and we'll go take a look at our first big machining center. So this large milling machine is one of our biggest machining centers here at Park, and we use it to primarily cut the bases for our large routers and saws. This machine has 8 feet of concrete underneath it to provide a stable base. You can cut any side of a part at any angle. We also have tools in this thing for milling, drilling, tapping holes, basically qualifying any edge we need to. Right now we're machining a base for a Titan CNC, and as you can see, there's no operator around here. We've built much of our process in the machining area to run automatically. What this means is we optimize our programs and the quality control process, so when this machine is done with this part, it's a guaranteed good part. Let's take a look at some finished parts. This is a finished base for a Titan router. As you can see, all the shiny surfaces on here have been machined. So basically, machining on principle is we qualify every edge on here. So when it gets to assembly, we can bolt all the parts on and it's a good part. Some of the critical surfaces that we machine on this part are right here. So this is the mating surface for this base to the tool changers portion of the Titan. We machine all these surfaces, so when we bolt it together, it's a perfect match. Another area we cut here is the rail surface. So we cut this shelf so it's perfectly flat within 2 thousandths. So when we bolt our Titan or when we bolt our rail on there, it's a perfect fit. We also machine this gear rack parallel to this rail within 2 thousandths of an inch. So when we bolt up this gear rack, it's also a perfect fit. Now we'll take a walk down there and look at another larger, newer machine for us. This is another large machine. This is our Gauss mill, which is a little bigger than the last one you saw. And between these two machines, we have some of the largest CNC milling machines in the upper Midwest. This machine is a little newer and gives us even more capability to machine your parts. From here, we'll walk around the corner and look at some of our medium-sized machines. This is our Marwin mill, which is a different style of machine than the last two. This is a horizontal machining center. And we cut most of our, what we call bridges or gantries for our machines. So any of our saws or routers, the bridge portion is cut on this machine. And all the same principles apply. We optimize our programs to produce a good part. So when it's done on this machine, we know it's a perfect part.
I'm standing here in front of our Kano machine here. This is our Park Industries built and designed plasma cutter, and we use this to cut all our production parts. We basically cut everything from sheet gauge all the way up to 2-inch thick material. And neat thing about this piece of equipment is yeah, basically it's a Kano cutting Kano parts. What we like about it is it does such a nice clean job. We don't have a whole lot of cleanup at all from a slag standpoint. And now we'll go take a look at our small machines. This is our first small machining center, one of our Nagata machines. And as you can see, all the fixtures we have down here for all of our parts. Every part we cut on this machine has a fixture to guarantee it's a good part. And as we come down a little further, we have some more milling machines. These we call our Mazaks. And as we come down a little further, our last Mazak, and then our turning centers. This area is where all of our small parts are made for our machines. Behind the window here, you can see we're turning some parts, and these are fastback hubs. The end of the last turning center here. These turning centers are for turning all of our round parts. So any round part that goes on our machines that we make is done on these machines here. And to talk about the paint booth and the rest of our process, here's Steve. Thank you, Lyle. We'll take off with the paint line here.
So right here we have our automated paint system. We're going to kind of walk through and show you what a little bit of that means. So as we walk through, we'll look to the right, various stages of wash going on here. You'll see the parts are going to transfer down on the bottom off to my right. It's coming out of the wash, so the parts are blow dried in that washer. They're going into an oven, 150 degrees, 2 feet a minute through there, brings our parts out dry. All right, once the parts exit the parts washer, we're prepped in this area here. Any plugging, masking is going to happen right in this area. If you follow behind me, we're going to enter into the prime booth right now. You can see as we go through here, painters in there. You look through the line. First stage here is zinc-rich urethane primer. If you look through the line, there's a cure chamber in between. And on the very end, there's a top coat booth where we're applying the top coat. Total line cycle time is approximately 4 hours, start to finish. So from the time we load the line till the time we unload the line is about 4 hours. All right, in addition to our automated paint line, here at Park, we have a large booth match system as well. So what you'll see behind me is our wash system. All our large parts in here are brought in, they're staged, they're manually washed, they're prepped, they're loaded into the wash or into the paint booth. Once they're in the paint booth, it's about a 4 to 5 hour cycle time to paint those parts. Okay, behind me is our 20 by 50 large paint booth here. It's empty now, waiting loading of the parts coming out of wash. That's about all I can say about it right now. All of our top coat applications are electrostatic, gives us better transfer efficiency on the parts. Really does a nice job for us. Once the parts are top coated, they exit the booth, they come into the cure chamber. This cure chamber is humidity controlled. It helps give us a consistent cure on our paint. Our paint is moisture cured, so we pump about 60% humidity into this room. It allows our parts to come out dry at the end of the cycle time. Once the paint operation is complete, parts are moved out into the various assembly stations. For example, behind me right now, we have our fastback assembly locations here, or our edgers. Parts will come out, they'll be staged in the station. Alongside of it, they'll be staged into a pre-assembly location where the smaller components will be assembled. Once the small components are assembled, we'll move them over to the final station. Final assembly will then put those larger components all together. The electrical department will come in, they'll do their floor wiring, they'll power up, and we'll hand it back over to assembly. On my opposite side here, right, you'll see a main frame just out of paint, ready to start assembly. You'll see a fastback that's 75% complete, where we're doing the floor portion of the electrical wiring on that. Give it a shift or two, it'll be ready for test. Assembly will run it through its phases, which includes dialing the machine in, wet running some stone, verifying a polish, do a final prep, and clean up, and it'll be ready to ship to the customer. So we got a couple fastbacks down in the load bay ready to go to the customer. You'll see them prep for shipment, padded up, wrapped up, kind of protected for the weather. Conveyor is wrapped up as well. We're ready to go when the truck comes. Right now, we're going to take a look in the panel shop and see what's all going on in there. All right, in the panel shop here, you're going to see various stages of machines in process. Look off to the side, you'll see back panels in various stages of the assembly electrical wiring portion. Off to my left here, we have some completed enclosures that are ready to go out on the floor and be attached to the machine and starting the floor wire process. All right, here's a look inside of one of our Titan 3000 enclosures, ready to go out to the floor and be attached to the machine. We're entering into our assembly area CNC saws, which include our Voyager XP and SaberJet XP. Off to my left is bridge assembly. So at this point, the painters will deliver the bridge to the assembly stations. In this case, assembly is completed.
their portion of the build. The electrical is now on wiring up the bridge and getting it ready to go over to the base. Off to the right side, other side of the bay, is our base assembly final testing location here. So this location, assembly will attach all of the rails, position all the components, get it ready for that bridge to be moved over to the base. Once the bridge is onto the base, we'll finish up our final assembly and the electrical team will come in, power up that machine, hand it back to assembly. They'll go through a couple pages of checks, make sure everything functions well, and we'll prep it for shipment. Its final prep for shipment stages will kind of look like this machine right here. We have documented processes to ensure that all of these steps are taken and completed prior to shipment. So behind me, you're going to see various stages of tightness and process here. So to the left of me here is a Titan 3700 base, just out of the paint booth. So we're just getting started on that one. As we move to the south here, we have a 3800 Titan in assembly stages here. So you can see the rails have been positioned, the gear racks in place, the tool racks in place, armor deck is all in place. That machine is waiting for the bridge to be put on and tied in with the electrical components. Behind that, we look a little farther down the aisle here. We have another Titan 3800 in the test stages. So each time we build a Titan, we put it together as with any other machine. We'll put it together, we'll test it, go through a series of checks, really test out that piece of equipment, make sure it's functioning properly, all the components are working as designed prior to shipping out. A key job that these guys do in pre-assembly also is their customer orders. So these guys are positioned, or this team is positioned close to the warehouse. So the parts that come in from a customer order can quickly be assembled or put together at that location and go right back into the warehouse. They have high visibility to our ERP system. They're right there trying to get the customer orders completed. As we talked about the importance of customer service in our pre-assembly department, we also have RemStars, which house a lot of our warehouse components, allows for quick and easy dispersal of those components that are stored in there. We have 4 RemStar units here, stacked to the ceiling with trays full of parts. Now comes time to pull apart, ship a part out. We have accurate inventory. You guys can pull up the part. RemStar will go get the part, bring the tray down, bring the part out, and actually display with a red arrow where that part is within that tray. Once the parts are pulled, say for a customer order, you'll see this conveyor line on the end. The order is put onto that conveyor. That conveyor will go immediately over to our shipping department. We've just gone through all of the final assembly portions or finishing portions of assembly here at Park Industries. Next step is to load that machine out on the truck and get it out the door down to the customer. With that, I'm going to hand this over to Duane, and he's going to finish off.
Thank you, Steve. So I promised you a couple tips earlier in the video. So I'd like to share one with you right now. Kanban squares. So here at Park, we publish a schedule daily. The schedule comes out to the factory floor, gives them a lineup of equipment when to build. We have squares located throughout our factory that trigger a pull. So when anytime a square is empty, they know the next machine needs to be pulled in and fill that square. That same philosophy flows throughout every work cell here at Park Industries. Easy to do, but it's a great way to fine tune and allow your associates on the floor some ownership in the schedule. I'd like to show you another tip here. All of our benches here at Park Industries have been 5S. So here's a close-up of a bench that's currently in use. You can see easily what tools are missing, what tools belong here. This is the white and the triple purple bench. Every tool has the same color coordination to it. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on this quick tour of our Park factory here in central Minnesota. We're proud to be American made. We are family owned, employing approximately 300 associates for almost 70 years. So thanks again. Enjoy your 4th of July.
Wonderful. Thank you, Duane. Now this leads into our second Q&A section. Who has some questions for Duane in Park Industries? All right, I'll get it started because I have a couple written down. So I'm wondering, Duane, I know we did stream this through Zoom, so it took a little bit of the clarification of the video away from it, but it still did a great job. I'm just wondering, who did your video production? Because they did a great job.
That was our own team. We have a marketing group internally. They shoot all of our videos for us.
That's awesome. Great. So my other question was, you know, I drove by there a few days ago. You have a lot of hiring signs around your yards and your couple facilities, as do a lot of people, but I especially noticed it in your yards. And maybe this goes back to our first breakout session, but I'm wondering, what is Park Industry doing in maybe new practices and trying to attract talent?
Right. We use a lot of social media. So we have our HR team is always, I would say, recruiting. So they're always keeping for various positions in touch with people that they think may be a good fit. So they're always recruiting. But we also do a lot of employee incentive programs if they bring somebody in. So we hire a lot of family and friends. We have a lot of, we hire a lot from just recommendations from employees here.
Duane, I had a question. You were talking about the 7,000 hours you saved this year from waste or from doing lean. Was automation any part of that 7,000 hours, or was that all just lean?
That was all lean. Actually, some of the autonomous stuff we did this year, we didn't include that in our savings of hours. So that was all lean. And it's many projects, some large, some small, and from all aspects of the organization.
And just one more question about your automation. How much did quality change in those areas where you added automation compared to where you didn't have it before?
Well, the quality became an automated piece of it. So we were capturing the same data, and that was one of the challenges we had. Every time we make a base, that 2000s requirement that Lyle spoke to is a really critical feature on our machines. And there was concern that we could lose that, but they built some probing cycles in with the machines and developed some internal programs so that would allow the part to unclamp and relax, the machine come back, inspect those critical features, and give a feed out and email it to the required parties.
Interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're fortunate here where one of the things that you saw in the video is a lot of panel manufacturing. We do have our own internal software group that is developing the software for our own internal equipment or for the equipment that we sell. So we do piggyback those and share those resources in our factory as we are building some of those internal capabilities for autonomous. And we've created an automation group that focuses on that. But they use our internal resources for developing software for our machines to develop some internal needs.
Duane, question for you as you engage in your autonomous improvements. Obviously, workforces can get very nervous
Oh, yeah.
about am I working myself out of a job? What am I doing to, if I engage in this, that means we're going to have 5 less employees now because I've figured out an autonomous process. How do you guys manage and set expectations and set those employees up to be successful? Because obviously you want them fully engaged in this,
Yes.
but how do you cross that bridge?
That's a great question, Jim. So here's what we did. Early on, when we sat down and said, this is the direction we need to go, how do we get our team engaged in fear of, I'm working myself out of a job? So what we did and what we continue to do is every time we have a big project that we know is going to displace workers from that area, we build a current status org chart to show them this is what our department looks like. After this project is completed, this is what our org chart looks like. And we show them that there's other opportunities in the company that we're going to ask people to consider. So we've always had their buy-in. We've been fortunate. For instance, the autonomous machine operation. We recognize that we're going to be relying on that system heavily and less on the people. So it's critical we have backup programming resources. We need more fixture design. So we developed an org chart that showed the same headcount, but it showed new positions and opportunities that didn't exist at the time. Then we asked the team, where do you see yourself fitting in? Down the road, is there an opportunity here that will be developed that you see is an opportunity for you? We were fortunate. We had a number of people that wanted those opportunities, and we had a lot of people that didn't, and they wanted to stay on the floor. So we said, great, we have these opportunities on the floor still. This is what they look like. And the team grabbed it and ran with it. In fact, the ones that were excited about moving up, they were some of our biggest drivers. I want to become that programming expert. I want to learn more about fixture design. And so through that course of the automation, we were upskilling that team at the same time, so they were prepared to move into that new role. That's how we did it. So for this year, we're constantly looking for where is our next capacity constraint or our next bottleneck. What is going to stumble us next? And we now are building out automation plans in actually kicked off a pretty big project for our panel shop. And we're doing the same thing there, Jim, where we said, here's what we look like today. This is what we see we need for technicians to help this be successful moving forward. Where do you fit in? And that'll be a big change in our fiscal 2021.
Any other questions? So otherwise, I do have one. For Duane, is it because I've been involved with Park for a long time, and so we watched them as all the stone cutting, which is a big thing, and then they made a huge decision to start applying that technology into the metal cutting industry. And do you recall? I don't recall exactly what the history was. How long that's only been going on for a short time now?
Short time, right? And we're starting to make inroads into that. Les, what we decided is we did not want to come out with a machine that is a me too. So we said, how do we develop a machine that is unique? How do we use our capabilities in-house that maybe some competitors don't have? And we've developed a very large system. We can go up to 24 feet long, and it's all one base. So it's one continuous piece of equipment that is very rigid. And that makes our machine really unique and more precise than a lot of the machines you'll see out there.
Okay. The other tidbit I want to reveal, somebody had asked about how you do this with the employees and everything. And there was a presentation done by Kelly Hanson from your group, the HR gang. She revealed the real secret for Park was to make it such a great, fun place to work that everybody wants to come to work there.
That's what we try to do, Les. We created Tom and his family created the Parkway. I don't know if you've heard of the Parkway, but
oh yeah,
it's a great thing to live by. It's a little bit of Mayberry, maybe. Right?
It works.
But it is a great guide that we all look towards when we're making decisions. We say, hey, are we transparent with this? Are we transparent enough? Does our team know what we're doing? Well, if the answer is no, then we have to change that. We need to get in front of the team so they have a good understanding of why is this important for the company and why is it good for them. Park also has a really good incentive program for all associates. If the company is successful, they are successful. They are all sharing the profits of the company. And so they all know financially how we're doing, which is unique in my experience.
Yeah, no, it's been a great group to work with. So I have to reveal that Park happens to be one of our clients. So, but so any other questions at all though? I think we're getting close to where time to wrap up. If there's any other questions though, we're more than happy to do that. And again, I want to thank everybody for being here and being part of our meeting today. And I'd really appreciate any feedback you have. I mean, this is our first venture into this virtual tour. You know, for me, it worked really well. So hopefully let us know how that went for you and what things you'd like to see. So thanks again, Duane, for a great job.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Anything else, Amy?
No, I would just like to give a final thank you to our.
There's a hand went up from.
Oh, from Jason?
Just a clap.
Oh,
just
great.
Okay. Don't want to miss any good inputs.
I'd like to give a final thank you to our sponsor today, LB Carlson, and also to Penny from Enterprise for her presentation, and Duane, of course, for your video and your time today. So as Les said, I think that's a wrap. So Les and I and Sandy can hang out, be the last ones on the call. So if anybody had any final thoughts for us or wanted to chat, we will go. Otherwise, it's been a blast.
Right. Have a great day now, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.